We're going to begin the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting. It's July 10th, 2019, and it's 5:02. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is approval of the minutes, but Bridie's asked that we do that at a next meeting, because there's a couple changes she wants to make.
Do I have to make a motion to table it, or no?
Probably just as
Make
well.
a motion to table the June 19th, 2019 minutes.
Second. All in favor? Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 47, 50, 53, and 54. Accounts payable 46, 48, 49, 51, 52, 55.
Make a motion to approve all as read.
Second.
Any further discussion? None, we vote, 3. Open session, would anybody like to speak?
Yes, I would. I'm Sharon Smith, and I live down at Center Pond. And we have our road right side of the public landing road, and I know the town has maintains the public road to go down to the water. But the problem is, everybody goes down our road, right down to where Marvin Edgerly lives, and then they go across. The other part of the road, the campers that come in, or whatever come in with boats, do not use that. And we've asked if the town could at least help us to put a little gravel in, or just grade our road down to that section. We've got one section right now that really needs it really bad, that needs to have some gravel in there. And all the people just go down our road, and we pay a lot of taxes in there. The town doesn't have to do anything to maintain anything for our road in there. But that is a public, well, it shouldn't be a public access for everybody. But they don't use that, well, you know how it is, they don't use that other one.
Very seldom.
And very seldom does anybody go down there with a boat, and they just go down our road. And is there any chance that we can get any help at all?
I have a question, because I had a similar situation, and what we did, people were cutting across at the last minute and using our road. We put boulders, so they couldn't have cut across, so either they were going to our house.
Well, you can't do that because Marvin Edgerly lives there permanently. And that's how he has to get into his
So
See, I
house.
haven't been down there, so I don't.
Marvin, and I don't know the people too that actually use the lower part of the town road.
Yeah.
But I think they have to, I'm not sure how they're deeded, but I know they use the top part of the camp road and then the lower part of that to get
To
the
go
part of the
across.
pond.
Yeah. Well, it's just, there's not a lot of maintenance, but I mean, we do need like one load of gravel right now in the lower part, and we basically maintain everything else, but I mean, that's kind of like the public use it. One time when they had that grant, they sort of fixed that on the road, but nobody uses it.
That's
What
good grass road.
we've actually talked about, and it was last year, we haven't talked about it a lot this year because of everything going on, but what we've talked about in the past, if it would be possible, to figure out a way to get rid of, instead of having the town way, eliminate that.
Yeah.
And then have the town way go straight down, and right before you take the right have it be a left right there
Right.
to make that loop.
Right, right.
But it's been discussed, but it's never.
Well, I thought
Well,
Tim Woodbury actually tried to put that
Well,
whole
when
thing
they go
together.
across by
It never went
Marvin's,
anywhere.
I know, but that was actually in
It was talked about us doing it, yes.
yeah, when they go across by Marvin's, that short part that goes down to the landing is pretty good, that's good shape. And it's wider, and people can get in with their boats, because then they go down and turn around and,
The problem with that part of it though, and this is, that's not really a road, all it is, you know what I
it's
mean?
an
is
excess, but,
They kind of, basically it's part of Marvin's lawn, they've used as so in the springtime, I know Marvin is always pulling people out of there, because there's no gravel in it. I
yeah.
mean, people get stuck and everything else down through there, but.
The challenge for not just this particular road, but There's pretty strict statutes on spending money on private ways. We might have all the intention in the world, that all makes sense, but we might not even be allowed to. And that's where it gets really
Yeah, but when you have to
sticky.
supposedly maintain the other part, which is to the public landing.
Correct, that we not only do we have a right to maintain it, we have an obligation to maintain it. But a road that doesn't belong to the town, we're not even allowed to maintain it. So it gets problematic.
If we, does the road that everyone you're saying do not use, if that were to be improved,
Well,
it sounds as though it needs to be.
It's not really, when you come down, you're just not gonna use it.
Really?
If you come
I've just
over,
never
it
been
just
down
doesn't
there.
make, it doesn't, the whole thing honestly, before I even, growing up, before I lived where I lived, that whole thing does not make any sense.
no,
You have two legitimate roads running 100% side by side,
Mhm.
all the way to the pond.
Wow,
And
and they all use the other road.
and they use ours right down to, to almost the end, and then they go down the other
The
ones.
logical thing would be to
Actually,
get rid
to
of one
close
road.
off,
Right,
correct.
if you
That's right.
close off your,
Correct.
whatever.
That's-
We're not asking much, because we keep, most of it, we keep it maintained, it's just, there's one section, a lower section there, that we really need gravel in there right now. And that's just why they have to go through that to get across there, so.
I would ask,
And I think Bob Brown has even come out and approached it, he does our grading, and he said even if the town just give us a little gravel, he would,
I would ask Bridie to check the
Okay.
this came up, and I think Ken Woodbury tried to work out some sort of a swap, and I don't know what got in the middle of that, but sitting here, it seems logical, if there's a way to basically move the town's commitment to the road in question, and
Right.
it should be an even swap, and then everybody's taken care of, but there was a reason that it didn't happen, so I think we gotta look
I'll
into it.
search, yep.
Yeah.
I think honestly, what you need, my opinion, the one call you need to make is to Bob Brown and have the conversation with him, because he.
Was instrumental
I
in-
could be wrong, but I believe Bob actually owns the road and everybody else has easements or,
He owns the land.
Yeah, right,
yeah,
Yeah, that's what we-
right.
he owns
And
that, so.
I know he's not gonna object, because he's been wanting this anyway.
Talk to Bob, he's, as far, it's one thing to talk about the town improving the road, it's something else to make that the town way.
That's what you may need in order to spend money there.
Right.
Mhm.
If it's not
We're
the town
going to have
way,
to- we can't spend
we
money
can't
on
spend
that
money on it
property.
unless it is
No,
the town.
right.
Well, that's,
Is there a group of people that does use the town road?
not that I see him.
The grass is growing up in the
You
middle.
go, you come look.
I mean, it's so narrow too, really, I don't even know how they get a boat down through there myself. And it's really,
There's a
I wouldn't
reason why
put a boat
everybody
down
uses
through
the other road.
Yeah, no, it's
he
not
knows,
even,
he lives right across there, so he knows what it looks like, so.
Right,
I
right,
can tell you, I don't have a camp on the pond, but
right.
if I go to the pond,
You take their road.
I use Bob's road.
Do you have it at all posted that it's a private road?
No, we don't, but I said I'd like to just put a chain across there, but you can't do that, because then every camp owner would have to get out and pick a key and open up the darn thing,
Yeah.
Well, not with the emergency.
And emergency vehicles, and we've got some people that living in there full-time now, year-round, so their houses,
So in the winter, what happens in the winter with regard to plowing? Who
they
does?
do their own, they pay for that.
And do they plow your road?
Yes.
Yes.
Town doesn't plow.
No,
Town
I
doesn't
know
plow
that,
that.
no, I know
No,
that,
but
but
it
yeah,
literally
like-
parallel.
We plow the boat landing and saying, we don't plow the center pond road.
No,
right, but whoever plows, the private person who plows,
just that part of.
plows your road,
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
so.
Yeah,
It's, what?
no,
Did they they don't plow down that one, do they?
yeah.
Somebody plows down that one?
To the landing?
They plow across from Marvin's, and I was wondering about the people that live in past Marvin, you know what I mean, past the, not Bonnie and Tom's camp, but the camp that's in more to the left.
Well, see, I'm not,
Maybe, I don't wanna say they are, but I'm thinking they might, not positive.
because I know the ones that live on the right down on the public landing, they come down that road.
Yep,
And then the other houses
Yeah.
over to the side, they come down that road.
yep. Correct, and they don't plow the upper end of it.
No.
But I mean from Marvin in.
Yeah, from Marvin, I guess from Marvin, I don't know, because
I'm
I'm not
thinking
there.
they
in the
may, because I
winter
think that's how it's the only way they can
Oh,
go.
you're
Okay,
not
so
there.
they plow from down there, okay.
Right,
Uh-huh.
And then the others plow our.
right, but Marvin doesn't plow, like he cuts across his
Mhm.
driveway over to the camp road, he doesn't plow onto that road.
No.
Yeah,
No.
the bottom line is we can't do anything on a private drive, and so it's a matter of,
Can you talk to Bob Brown and see what, okay,
Can do that.
well, that's all I can ask.
yeah. And it's, yeah, I mean, we just.
I'm not
we
sure
can't-
what happened, I mean,
Right.
I know Ken was,
Yeah, so maybe doing a little digging it and finding out why that got,
Yeah, I don't know what the
Why
original
not?
proposal was, as maybe they approached the landowner and said, we'll take it over. And maybe the landowner didn't have an interest in that, or maybe
Right.
there was an obstacle, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I do know it was talked about, and when you look at it,
Well,
it makes no
actually, you haven't
sense.
got to do much, I mean, it's just basically maybe one load of gravel now, and then that's about it.
It's the status.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
It's not the amount of money.
No, I hear you 100%. It's, yeah, it's just, we just can't do anything on someone's
Well,
private road. We
right,
just,
yeah.
well, we'd
It
actually
sets-
have to,
Like I say, if you take it, or, have it deeded over, then you have
Then
to,
we're good to go.
then, yes,
we're good to go, but then we have to maintain.
Yeah,
we
Yes,
right.
we
yes.
have one that we were supposed to maintain now.
Right, that's why it would be an
Maintain that
even
one now.
swap, but,
Right, you gotta
Right.
maintain that one anyway, but
In
anybody
theory.
uses that or
In
not.
theory.
but nobody uses it, so.
Nobody uses it.
and I wonder in that they're so close together in parallel, whether, because I know the people that travel over my land, which is my private road, they have a deed, it's in their deed that they can drive over my land. But, and I had the same situation, but they would, all of their deeds would have to be changed in order to, I mean, I don't know with this where they're so close together, I mean, but,
Yeah, it still all have to be.
Trees in between.
yeah, I mean, so it's a,
Well, you can ask,
Yeah.
Yeah.
check into it, please.
Well,
Yeah.
And-
it's, these camp roads are tricky.
Right, we did, it's like if we had an easement from Bob, just
Mhm.
right away, from the town for a lifetime, we wouldn't have to try and change anybody's deed, because the property would
that's true.
still maintain and under, everybody else's deed would still reference that point, is what I was
And
thinking.
then just close off that other,
You'd have to decide what we're gonna do with it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
or whatever.
that might be easier
if
and
you
better.
do it that way, you wouldn't get into your scenario of having to rewrite every deed on the pond, which would not be good.
No, and the problem is you get one camp owner who says, no, that's, no, I'm not doing that. And then you can't close the road, you can't change everybody over. So it's so tricky. You know, if you have one person who likes driving down the
Yeah, but it
one
wouldn't
that's.
change any of that,
Okay,
because we'd all be using theirs.
right.
Does Marvin own the land that our road is on? Or does that
No.
belong to?
No, I think
Bob
Bob
Brown.
Brown does. He
Okay.
just owns that little piece that goes, well, actually, little piece that goes across, that's part of the, he has to go across a little bit of your road there to get into.
Well, I'm
his
not sure
driveway.
how that, I mean, you'd have to look on his deed, I mean,
Well, maybe he owns that, I don't know.
he may own the stone wall, but he, you know what I mean, he might have
Yeah, I don't
might be
know.
referenced that he has an easement
Right,
up through the camp road, I'm not sure
I
how he is.
don't know.
But I mean, Marvin's family owned all of that,
He
that's
owned
why
all of that
it's
anyway.
Edgerly boat landing, I
Right.
mean,
Right, right.
his family's the one that gave the
Owned it,
town
right,
that
deeded
strip.
it to
Oh,
the town, I'm sure,
I
yeah.
see.
Right,
Well, just checking with.
but I mean, if we got the other road, so half of that camp road would go back to Marvin anyway,
Right,
because
right.
he's adjoining.
Right.
I think if it could happen, I think it would be better for everybody involved.
Well,
Cause down on the other end, as far as for the boat landing end of it, you could make the boat landing better.
Yeah,
If you turned that way
Yeah.
instead of,
right, right.
so.
that's, okay. We will look into that.
Anything further?
Nope, that's fine, that's all.
Would you like to speak?
Yeah, I would like to know what's going on at the top of Pleasant Avenue to the left, I don't know the name of the road. All
Oh, the
trees
McPheeters
got
Road?
cut down, I know, I have a catch basin in front of my house, they cut the curbing and they spray painted, I was just wondering what's going on.
That whole road is about to be repaved, reditched. That's why we're moving the trees, those roots have kind of invaded the roadbed. So it's a major upgrade of the McFeeters Road.
Is Pleasant Avenue gonna be paved as well?
Wasn't Pleasant Avenue just paved?
Yeah,
I was just wondering what was
By
going
the
on with
state.
like the catch basin
yeah,
thing.
that's a state road, so
That's-
it's nothing to do with us.
Is that the one in the V? No.
It's like it goes Pleasant Avenue and then the one he
Mhm.
said.
McFeeters.
And then there's
Right.
another one that goes this way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And also I noticed the sidewalk is on the opposite side, but it only goes up to a point, and then you've got the roads and the one that's being repaved, and then you've got Pleasant Avenue. So someone walking has to cross over two
It's not a good
roads. It's
spot.
very dangerous,
Yeah.
and then they're on that side, and then there's that yard with the steep hill, and there's no sidewalk, so they have to cross in that crazy section. And I've been told someone got hit by a car there, and I was wondering, Jay got run over there. So I was wondering if the sidewalk should be actually, but that's a state road, so, who do I speak with about that? Because also the runoff from, not the, is it McFeeters, is that what it's called? Okay, the one that they're ditching. I haven't lived there long, but I've noticed during the rain that the water runs off of the other one, and I don't know the name of that one either. There's a trailer up and behind.
Oh, that's not actually a road.
Yeah, that's a
It's a driveway.
That's a
driveway.
driveway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the water comes running down that, and then across Pleasant Avenue, and then pools up in a little pond on my lawn and my neighbor's lawn. And there's no catch basin there, the catch basin's down.
Right.
So there's a problem there, and I also believe that the sidewalk should be on my side of the road.
Yeah, that would be a
For
state.
safety.
Yeah, it's all state.
So you were gonna give me a name of someone to contact for the state?
I-
Bangor,
Yeah.
I contacted the Bangor office, you could try Guilford, but they never
Yeah.
answered the
Right
phone.
on the Dover Road is the DOT office.
Yeah, that's true.
Dover Road. Okay,
15 from here to, yeah,
is the MDOT,
yeah.
and they're the ones that are doing it? They're the people who are doing the work?
They're the ones
No,
that,
no,
they maintain the state roads in our area.
Aren't you concerned about that in Sangerville? Don't you wanna have any say about what they do in Sangerville?
It's a state road. We don't have a say on our state roads.
Or the trees that get cut down? Those trees were nowhere near that road. Nowhere near, and the one on the other side wasn't either, and if it's the state, how can they cut those trees down?
No,
That
no,
wasn't
no.
the state, that was us.
we cut those
That
trees
was-
down.
McFeeters is our road.
Yeah.
Pleasant Street is not our road.
Right, Pleasant Street.
And you didn't notify, I didn't know, I just woke up and they were all gone, it was very strange and doesn't look that good. And I don't understand the ditching, because the trees were back, and then there were the power poles, so the power poles are still there, I mean.
We
where
haven't
is the
even
ditch
ditched it
going
yet.
to go?
We haven't
We haven't
ditched
ditched it yet,
Where is the ditch going to go?
it along the side of the road.
yeah.
Between
To
the power
facilitate
poles
drainage.
and the street?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
So the trees.
In fact, if you
were
go to the top of
behind the
Mc-
power poles.
But the power poles don't have a root system. If you go to the top of McFeeters, you'll see what that's gonna look like, because we've already done ditching up there, and in some cases, we've ditched around the power poles. So you'll see pretty much what that's
Is the
gonna look
ditching
like.
gonna affect the runoff into that area that's pooling up on my yard?
Hopefully, it's,
Yeah,
Well,
That's
hopefully it will
that
make
why
it.
we're ditching. Right, to
Right.
keep it out of the road.
we've
Right.
got,
It doesn't come from there, it doesn't, I've seen it
Where-
comes from that
well,
other
then it
road.
may not affect yours.
Well,
Oh.
but Willie's driveway is still on McFeeters, isn't it?
No, that's actually not pleasant.
Is it on Pleasant?
Are you talking about the Honeywell Road? Is that what that's called? Yeah, you know, next
Way
to.
down.
The name.
Okay, so there is a road there.
It's, let's say
Next,
three
on
quarters
the
of the way
other
up,
side of
Yeah.
three quarters of
W,
the way up the hill.
of W Haskell, on the other side.
Right.
Right.
Is that the road that you're talking about? No,
No.
you're
No.
talking about then, that dirt road that goes in, that's
Yes.
Willie Williams.
That's
Up
That's
to
what it
it,
is.
up to it, mobile home, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's a private road, that's a driveway.
That's where the water comes from.
Ah,
It's just a
interesting.
driveway.
What?
That needs
It's
to be
just a
ditched.
Yeah, it's driveway. Well, we would put a culvert, I mean, if it's driveway,
We don't do anything.
we're not doing anything there because that's on Pleasant.
Yeah, but it's just a driveway. I mean,
Gotcha.
But in the V between McFeeters and Pleasant Avenue, there is a basin there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
right now,
for anything coming down McFeeters.
And
Yep.
it doesn't really.
and right now, it's not working,
It
so.
Nothing goes there.
So Seth's gonna try to reshape that. What's happened is, lots of sand and gravel is piled up
Right.
at the end of Phil's driveway, and so
Right.
if he can clean that up and make the water run that way, that'll
Should help.
That should help.
Right.
So, so you guys do not work with DOT at all? You don't know the names of anybody there or anything like that?
No, they sometimes will inform us if they're gonna pave one of our roads or, but,
Get an email.
yeah, they pretty much, they do their thing, they don't, you know.
Okay,
I don't-
well,
I don't know.
look them up there. Again, where were
If
they
you,
located?
if you leave
Don't-
your name and number, I will, see what I can find for names for
Okay,
Yeah.
Kelly Doyle.
DOY, LE, okay?
504-3217.
504-3217, okay.
Because I would like them, but I have to deal with the state. I have to
Yeah.
deal with the state. Yeah, the sidewalk should be changed, the catch basin should be changed.
I can
Safety.
I can see if I can find a name, local name.
Okay, thank you.
So that you can-
And what was your name?
My name is Bridie Armstrong. It's BRYDIE, last name's Armstrong.
Armstrong. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
Well, I'm having issues with the sewer treatment and the water. No, not really the water, but I'd like to know how that works. I really would. It's really annoying.
Have you
Yeah.
spoken to that
The water.
agency?
The sewer treatment plant, yes, I have. Nothing was resolved. I paid under duress.
Oh, that happens a lot.
Their bills are not pleasant. They're just their bills. I wanted to hit them, just getting a bill, the way they're worded. Anyway, but then from there, I have no septic service, nothing. And I have to pay. I have to pay even though there is no,
We actually, the town has properties like that as well.
And I do
know,
too.
and it's
Yeah.
wrong.
We have a lot down here that the monument sits on, and there's not even a dwelling on it.
Oh,
If the
oh.
line goes by your house, you have to pay for service.
And that just seems wrong. So what I thought we should all do is get together.
It's the way every town works.
No, it isn't actually. I've checked into it.
Every town around here works that way.
Yeah, this isn't around here. I've checked in Bath, Brunswick, and everything. In fact, Bath just had a thing where everybody could get water samples to make sure their water was clean and pure and all that. Yeah, every town does it differently, actually. That's the truth there. But, so, yeah, it's very frustrating. And I don't understand their pay structure because my understanding is that the lines were put in 1986. It should be well paid for by now, and the bills should go down, if anything, in my opinion. I don't get how that works. Right? Logically, right? If you own a house for 30 years and your mortgage is paid, why do you have to keep charging the same amount? Or why in the world would you go up?
Yeah, I mean.
And they don't maintain the lines after they're in, and if they break, you have to pay for that. Do you know that?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I just pay my bill.
Doesn't that make a lot of sense, right? Makes a lot of sense. No, I don't get it.
So
I
do you
don't
have a
get
septic field?
it. No,
So where does your sewage go?
I don't have any yet
So where will it go?
in the town.
Okay,
Sewer line.
okay.
And I would love to have that, but I don't have it yet, and I don't think I should have to pay for it.
Oh,
It's like, my argument was, when I bought my home, I had a CMP power meter on the outside of my house, but I didn't turn the power on. CMP doesn't send me a bill, and they're a public utility. They don't send me a bill until I tell them to turn my power on and I start using power. Then I get charged. Septic should be the same. I don't get why they're so special. Do you
Do you-
understand why they're so special?
What,
I was like, I can't
do
believe
they
it.
run by ordinance? Are there rules?
I don't know if they run by.
Because they're all
They must- they have
elected,
bylaws.
they're all elected,
Yeah, it's a.
and it's
Yeah.
2 towns or 3 towns? It's Guilford, Saginaw, just the 2 of them?
Just the two.
So all of that's basically run by, have you attended their meetings?
Well, that's what I was looking. I was
I
trying to
did.
see if I
I
could.
did go to one, I
Oh, okay.
didn't get anywhere, and
Did they tell you how their rules are made?
no.
Oh, well,
that might be worth looking into.
yeah, because if it's by ordinance, that
No.
means
I
you
mean,
could
it's
go,
out of-
you could rally
To
interest,
get it changed?
you could change it.
Really?
Yeah, now if it's by statute, it can be changed, but it's really tough to change.
Statute is from the state?
State.
Yeah,
But if it's local ordinance, it's just a matter of getting a petition and bringing it to us and, You're on the warrant,
People would sign it.
probably, but I don't know exactly how the rules are set up, but that would be the first thing to find out,
That's
is,
a very
Okay.
good point.
So I
That's-
have to,
we don't make their rules, that
that's
I'm
my
sure.
ignorance, I'm not new with this stuff, but okay, so I have to find out the rules.
How they're structured.
unregulated by the PUC as well, they're completely unregulated.
I believe, yeah, that makes sense, that it's probably
It's local.
local entity, kinda like town, it's a little quasi municipality is what it is.
Yeah,
But the two towns are combined, so that might make it more thorny.
yeah,
It'll be an interesting exercise.
yeah.
Statute or,
Versus,
Ordinance,
Ordinance or policy, and I've gotta believe,
bylaws.
they might be running by policy because they got a mixed board, they just pass their own rules. It's kind of interesting, I'll be intrigued to find out.
isn't it complicated? So then I find out, and I don't know where I find that out, but I can look into that. All right, so then I find that out, and then I do what again? I go around and get
Depends on
Once you
signatures.
know-
Depends on how it's worded, what you can do.
right,
Once you know how that is, you'll know what you can or
You know what your direction is.
can't. Correct.
Let's say, for example, they're governed by ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Then that means that the legislative bodies in the communities have a say. So
the
that,
people have a say.
so then, a warrant, an article on the warrant, you could actually have some impact. If they're basically running that entity by policy, and
I think that's what it is.
that's gonna be tougher, because basically, those members, they get to decide the rules. The only way to change that would be to change some of those elected members.
Right, get on
Change their
board.
opinion.
Yeah,
Get on
get
the
people to
board,
look at it
good serve.
differently.
Wow, really?
Actually, there was an opening on this, on
Yeah,
the
we just
wall.
filled it.
It just got filled? There was an opening. Yeah,
I should have run.
that's, and that's the way you know.
That's the way that happened.
We've all been on the budget committee, and one of the bigger items that's always there is our hydrant fee. And I look at this little town, and the tens of thousands of dollars that we spend on hydrant fees
That's
is staggering.
It's crazy.
And I've
It's
never
crazy.
really understood the formula, but we just pay it.
What do we have, 4 or 6
Yeah,
hydrants?
but the thing is, and this is no
Yeah.
different than why I don't believe you would ever get this changed by people to sign it. 95% of the people, or probably 98% of the people, the
Aren't
sewer
affected
line
about that.
goes by their house are using the sewer treatment.
They are using it.
Correct.
It's the
So-
exception.
But it's the pricing, this is my
But
curiosity.
this is what I'm saying, is they're not
Yeah.
gonna wanna sign an ordinance, so you don't have to pay, because if you don't pay, they're gonna pay more.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense, because what I'm saying is, it has long since been paid for, this
No.
whole new thing.
Yeah, but
that
you got
they-
Yeah, but
ongoing
you got all the-
infrastructure
oh,
costs
yeah.
and
They
all
change
that stuff.
lines
That
every
is-
year.
processing and.
I mean,
what?
They change lines every year. They
No, but
upgrade
people have to
that.
pay for them,
Correct.
so it doesn't cost them anything.
Do you know what they got in the bank?
No, how would I know that?
I think it's all public record.
Public
Because they're
record.
public.
You just start
They're a
digging.
municipality, they have to file everything.
Yeah,
Here?
No.
No,
Yeah.
not, they're their own entity. But we, probably not an exact comparison, but kind of like an SAD.
I don't know what it
A
is.
school
district.
administrative
Ah.
district, okay? So in this case, you have two communities, Sangerville and Guilford, have created this quasi municipality
Okay,
for a water sewer district.
okay.
They're subject to FOIA requests and all the same requests that we are. All their documents their meetings are public, with some exceptions, there are probably some criteria for an executive session, but it'd be very narrow. Everything's public. So you should be able to find out
All that
what
information.
financials they have. If you're right and everything's paid for and there's
they're making
$1
money.
million in there, you're gonna have a very persuasive petition.
Getting rebates.
Free sewer for everyone.
But
Why
you guys
not?
don't get any.
But
Why not?
you need information.
Right,
That's-
okay.
You need information.
Right,
It's not available, so we don't pay it.
right, okay, that's, okay, yeah, yeah.
But anything further, we've got a,
Yeah, we got a big agenda. Yeah, you're free.
Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
But you get the CMP meter argument though, right?
Well, that's
Or a telephone line. I
It
have
does seem-
telephone lines and cable lines. I don't get bills from them either.
it does seem like there's
Doesn't that
a
seem?
parallel, but I don't think they're exactly the same.
It's pretty close though.
Yeah, it's more like property tax.
One is a private owned company and one's a more of a.
Municipalities are totally different deal. I'm kind of on her side, though. I'd like to know more.
Well, it is interesting, I mean,
I really don't even know how the rules are made, so.
If she's motivated,
I should know
Yeah.
that, but I don't know that. Anyway, on to item 5, Selectmen's concerns. Any? Moving
No.
on to item 6, committee reports, road commissioner.
is not here. He is haying.
Okay. Anything that you want to share with us that he may have shared with you, or?
Well, I think we're gonna cover it in
Okay.
other areas.
Item 7, old business, starting with tree removal.
Okay. We all know the trees are gone, but they aren't really gone because we've got some big pieces of tree left.
They're in a pile.
Yep. So Thomas Douglas, took what he could sell. The problem with selling the trees for pulp is that the mills have a certain criteria, but I asked Tuckers not to add to our bill by taking extra time,
Sure.
so they cut it, they did what they could for us. The problem being, those trees were huge. Those butt pieces were too big to even go to.
Right, you can't process them.
Can't process them. So, I've called several people. I believe I have somebody who's going to process them by hand. And I believe he'll do a good job and remove all that stuff. Whether it's fast enough or not, I don't know.
Fast enough for.
Fast enough as in, is the stuff in Seth's way?
Oh, well,
Well, we can just, Seth can just put it in the loader and haul it up, put it on the stump dump, get rid of it.
Yep. If,
yeah, that was my next question. Why can't we just dump it in the stump dump?
you could,
That's-
I've got somebody who wants it, but you could dump it. The
I
other
don't think
thing
we
is-
want to slow production down.
No.
do
The
we?
other, no.
No.
The other thing is, Randy Cookson would take it if you just dump it up by his wood boiler.
I think that would be
Either way.
fine,
So-
whatever's
Because if we
closest.
go to, well, the only thing is if we go to the stump dump, the only criteria of us, when we do use the stump dump, is when we're done, we have to haul a piece of equipment up to push it off.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a very good deal that we have, and we're never gonna get a better deal than that, but it's the same distance to go to Randy's.
it is.
Then
And
I would-
we
I mean,
wouldn't
if-
have to push equipment up, push stump off. that's
Yeah, and
all.
if somebody can benefit by it, I mean, that.
Yeah, just that alone, if it's a
Right.
wash, let
Right.
him have them. I mean,
Kerry Shaw has volunteered to cut it all up. I've kind of told him, you know, if it isn't done soon, then we're gonna have to do something different. So,
who's Gary?
Kerry Shaw is, he's a local, he's a welder, I believe. He worked for, Ari Thomas,
Why would he be cutting them up?
because he saw the stuff on the side of the road, called me and said,
Just to help us out.
does anybody
We just have
want
to be
that?
careful about liability and all
Has to
that.
sign off.
Yeah,
He's gotta sign off, but it's great that he wants to help.
yeah.
But if we're just gonna move them to the stump dump, I don't know that we need them cut up anymore, do we, or?
But he wanted them, he
Yeah,
was
but
gonna cut it and want
He
it.
could take the smaller stuff and then you wouldn't have to.
That's all fine.
That's, yeah.
As long as it disappears, there's no liability, and it's out of our way when Seth needs it out of
I'll
our way, I
get-
don't care.
I'll get him to
They
sign a
can go
release.
to Randy's or go to wherever,
Yep.
Okay,
doesn't matter to me.
and we didn't make quite as much as we had hoped, made $433 and
It is what it is.
7 cents, because the only mill that would take it was Verso, they're further away. And there's a lot of board footage in those butt logs. So if we could have gotten some of those down there, we'd have had a lot more board footage. So we made a little bit. And,
The logging business.
oh, and the tree removal, the invoice was in, I think the last warrant. And it was exactly what they quoted us.
That's excellent, they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very impressed, I mean, my gosh.
So-
And they didn't even stop traffic. I mean,
No.
it was crazy. I
No.
thought the road would be closed when they were doing that job, and I'd have to go all the way around. So I was,
I went up multiple times,
Yeah.
and sometimes I was like, oh.
I know, me too,
oh,
me too.
okay,
Do
But
we have to
they,
cut, is there any more up through there though that there's any concern about as far as the cut? I mean, cause some, like the trees on the right, the biggest reason why we cut those is cause the roots is going into the road.
yep,
And there's other big trees up through there that are relatively
one-
the same distance, so. we're
there's
not
one
cutting.
on Pellerins, I know they
Yeah.
don't want
Well,
it gone.
This isn't a
They
question.
don't.
I
Yeah.
know, I know,
It doesn't matter
I'm,
what people
Yeah.
want, if
I'm
it
just
needs to
telling
go.
you. Go look and see if you can ditch there at all, you know,
It's-
if you could tell them, hey, this might stop the water from pooling in your basement.
Honestly, it's nothing against any landowner. I don't really, I'm not of an opinion of what they want or think. If our road commissioner looks at that and says
it's gotta go, it's gotta
that the
go.
tree has to go, or the roots are going under the road,
I hear
it's
you,
the
you're
best
right,
interest, it needs to happen, then it's going.
yep,
We've ran into the situation in the past, and I didn't agree with how the outcome came then, and I think we need to move forward and not do that myself. At the end of the day, it's 3 rods.
No,
Yeah.
you're only cutting trees that need to be cut.
Right.
And
Right.
you're not
Right.
excluding keep trees that
No,
need to
no.
be cut for any other reason, so if,
nope, I'll have to talk to the road commissioner.
yeah, if he thinks it should go, then it should go.
I also talked to a lot of landowners, she lives on Pleasant, I believe, so there's no,
This,
this lady's,
Yeah.
so I didn't tell her the trees were coming.
No, there's
no,
no.
no, 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 no.
I did talk to Dean's, those Host and everything, they want the road improved, they don't care if the
Good.
house will disappear,
Excellent,
so,
excellent.
so we're good there, and tree removal is,
I have a new pond at the end of my road.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
Dale mentioned that there was that what was a swamp is now a pond.
is it
He
a
hit
nice
vein.
Is there
pond?
any-
He hit a vein,
Ooh,
and that's why it's so
came up
hot.
fast.
Oh, it really filled, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
The only
I haven't
thing that I have a
Not a water
very,
vein, main vein.
No, 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 oh no.
Goodness,
That's
that
a
would,
good, I mean.
that would be awful.
No, no.
the only bad part that I
Yeah.
see about that
It's
is
gonna need a culvert across the road because it's gonna flood.
it's gonna kill our road. I don't believe anybody should be putting a pond in our town way.
Well,
Don't you have to
They
have
did.
a permit
I
by
think
rule?
you need to find out about it,
Well,
because
I mean,
Well,
that's a 2
Yeah.
rod road up through there, right? And
I
that
don't know.
pond is.
what's it?
Thomas, do you know?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
think
I
it's-
just don't
I'm
know.
Guessing it's a 2, but I don't know
It
that.
can't be a 2, can it?
I don't
2
know.
rod?
Aren't they generally 3 and 4?
Maybe, I didn't think it was
Yeah.
as wide as McFeeters. But either way, this
Okay.
pond is within.
Well,
our
you
road.
drive past it every day.
Yeah, I sent George up.
Yeah, no, I know,
And-
because I saw George there.
Yeah,
He's worked it out with Paul?
I would assume it's supposed to go in front of the planning board. I'll call George again.
I think it's I really
Before
think it's
you
a
do it?
situation, yes.
Well, yes, that's,
Cause I mean,
I
It's,
put
that
in a
amount of water
pond.
up against our road isn't good.
no.
So is the pond near McFeeters or is it
Oh,
further
yeah.
up?
Oh,
I haven't
Okay.
seen it lately, so I'll have to go look.
Yeah, you just take a drive this after the meeting.
Well, I will, because when we were up there, it was full of water, but it was a swamp because it was
Yeah.
springtime.
yeah, no, it wasn't full then.
Well, it was.
It was
I mean,
wet.
you.
It was, right,
Yeah,
I mean.
now it's
you wouldn't walk out
now
there in
it's
tennis shoes.
Full.
Yes.
Now it's a pond.
It's-
Correct. It was a little wet when we looked at it.
We
in
got a lot of rain
comparison.
though the other,
Oh, true, that's a
Yeah.
good point. But I've been watching it, because when he dug it, I thought, oh, great. It's gonna just dry up in the middle. And and I said something about, I said, oh boy, wow, you made a pond. He said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I hit a vein. And he said he almost had to get pulled out with the excavator because the water was coming up so fast.
So if we need to look at that, if we need to put a culvert in,
He needs
he'd
egress
have-
for that water because it's going to
It's-
flood.
Well,
It's
it's,
gonna flood over
it's not
McPheeters.
even about, to me, I fully agree with you, but
But it's
right now,
where it
the
is.
stability of the road,
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
We now have a pond against the base of our road.
Yep.
And I don't see how that's a good thing.
no, I can't.
but
You have
how
to
do
build a
you
dam,
solve
I
it?
mean,
Well, I don't really think a pond should have been put.
No, but now what do you do?
I
I mean, what are the remedies available?
I do not know.
think you're gonna have to get somebody bigger than any of us involved to know the answer to that.
But we got a road that we wanna pave. If we need a culvert
It's
to
not on our
protect
road, it's on their.
McFeeters, oh, it's not McFeeters, it's
the lower side is the Thomas side. It's gonna go over the Thomas Road before it goes over McFeeters.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's
I
gonna,
would-
I'll go look at it.
Yeah,
There's already a
Take a look at
culvert
it.
going across McFeeters.
Yeah, I
That's
thought there was
true.
one in a
That's right, you're
diagonal one.
Yeah, it's not a big culvert, but there is a culvert.
that's right.
There
I think
is.
it's semi-plugged, but they weren't doing much that night.
No, it wasn't, it was, and you really,
we're
I don't
tearing
know that we
everything up.
actually found it.
You
If
could
we
put another one in, but you don't wanna do that now.
You're, we start putting a big culvert in there, you knock that pond down, and then you're taking all of that water
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I know.
sending it
Pond,
across
right
the
down that
street,
hill.
our
down
property,
the
Yeah.
hill.
which is gonna go into the
Flood.
pond in behind,
Flood the salt,
Hey,
the
Robin.
sand shed, probably,
which is all our property.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh,
This is gonna get bad, bad, and bad.
yeah.
And it's.
But you're not plugging this
it's
vein up again.
No, it's
It's
very
there now.
unfinished too.
I think there's gonna be a lot of expense that could get put onto the town because of this pond. And somewhere the town has to do.
So has that gone, do you know if it's gone to the planning board yet? or what-
All I know
I know he
is,
did a building notice, and I believe George told him he needed a permit by rule, which is state, it's not,
Okay.
but maybe he didn't,
and he
I'll
has
contact
another,
George.
today I just drove by and he's got another excavator there.
Of course he does.
So, I mean, it's,
I've read about cases, I'm not saying that it applies in this instance, where people went ahead and did something that they did not have permission to do.
yes.
And then-
And
you
the
have to put it
planning
back.
board and the code enforcement basically said, you must undo that.
Correct.
And in some cases, it was literally like replanting a forest.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I've.
tremendous, or
Huge.
moving or tearing down a building, you
Yeah.
know? Cause you're a foot over here, we're not gonna give it to you,
Right,
Right,
so
Right.
you must remove it.
you must put it back.
well, and, yeah,
So, okay,
Yeah,
it
so-
can get really
yeah,
expensive.
right, exactly. So,
Could you let us know,
so anyway,
could you let us know when the next planning board meeting is gonna be? Because I actually would like to go and hear this conversation.
I think it was,
it's always Thursday, first Thursday in the month?
because I think it was last Thursday.
Can we get them on the
Or is it-
calendar?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
We
I would
just,
like to see, actually,
If-
any town event.
We can, if your wife would like to help me.
yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay.
If you, whatever you email, should put on.
Okay,
I think any of the town committees.
Every
or
event.
whatever.
Yeah, that would be
Ought to
good,
be up
because,
there.
Yep.
well, and then you could have the sanitary and the water and.
All of it.
sure, that would be
all of it.
great.
Yep.
That would be
Because
great.
it's really, it's kinda like, that's the only thing on there now is concerts and us.
Yeah,
Whatever you got, if you send
Yeah.
it, should put it on.
okay, I
Um,
appreciate that, because by the time I figure it out, it's taking me 40 minutes.
Oh, you,
and-
it's not a problem.
Oh, that's,
So right now, it's kind of in code enforcement's hands, and wouldn't code enforcement, if he had a concern, he would bring that to the planning board, is that how that procedure goes? Okay.
then we haven't heard from him.
No, I haven't.
Me?
I feel,
Okay, he was also gonna do something on the other side of Thomas, because we were up there in the road, he said we could use that as a stump dump.
I know.
Did he end up digging that up too?
No, that's where he made the pond.
Oh, okay.
Our little stump dump proposal is now a pond.
Now,
A full-fledged pond.
in-town pond.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfinished.
Well, I mean, summer's young. We'll have a trout fishing derby there.
B, please.
Okay, paving.
Okay, I apologize because I haven't sent all of this to you because I got 2 of these bids today.
Oh, there you go.
I sent you, I believe, Pikes and Wellman's earlier. And so I figure there'll be enough questions, we won't make any decisions today, but I thought we ought to go over it.
Did you get, timeline, availability? Did some people say, gee, we are almost booked for the summer, or any kind of dialogue like that?
Seth did all of that.
Okay,
Up until 20 minutes before the meeting, it's thought he was going to be here to
Okay, okay,
give us the rundown.
all right. Well,
Pikes appears to be eager, and they have offered a quote-unquote discount because we may be paving and Parkman may be paving. I did talk to Vaughn Thibodeau because they hadn't gotten back to Seth. And they didn't give me an exact timeline, but they seem to have some availability, so. I don't know about B&B or Wellman.
With, I'm sorry, what did you say? You don't know about B&B?
B&B and
Oh.
Wellman,
Oh, and Wellman, as far as time.
yep.
And with that said, as just backing up, when is Seth going to do the ditching
I was hoping for a
report?
report.
I see. Okay.
I'm wondering if,
Can we
with regard,
skip, wait, can we skip to one thing? What about West Road? Because that was we had an issue there and we had people here last meeting.
The last meeting, he got the work done. I haven't had any complaints, well,
Is that what the ADE, was that mainly what bill was for that we paid?
which one?
The one that we signed tonight, the 8,000?
Yes,
So it was 8,000 just for that one?
no, more like the 4,900, that was mostly West Road.
Sorry.
The only complaint I've had is when they were grading the road, the grader operator took down some stakes, cut them off with the grader, and he and the landowner got into it. And the landowner came and complained to me, I can't remember his first name, he's Lance Burgess's son. And, basically, if the grader hit them, the stakes are in the
Down like,
town way.
That's
well,
right.
I was in the town office
Oh, you were, that's right.
and I was registering a vehicle and,
Well, that was round one. Round
his
two was
dad,
at my
Lance,
house.
was here and was, just to give you a background of what's going on up there, they're of the opinion that that road has kind of migrated over the year, that's my word, not his, but, to the extent of, he alleges like 50 feet that this road has moved over the years.
Wow.
And he referenced, I think, a 1938 aerial photograph that he was using as evidence of this movement. And I jokingly said to him, well, some of that migration occurred while you were on the select board.
Yeah.
And he laughed so that's, I think, the genesis of this. So probably stakes were put in a location, we allege that this is where the road should be. And if it's 50 feet.
Well, I saw pictures of
it's
there.
50 feet
And
on the
they're
wrong side of the
right,
road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. They're right up against the gravel, and so the grader hit them.
Now, were they surveyors pay?
No, the
Grade
grade
stakes.
stakes.
Oh,
Just
oh,
grade
oh,
stakes.
oh,
It's making it's kind of like making a statement.
The
probably.
former owner alleges that his neighbor picked up his cornerstone and threw it on his lawn one day.
I've heard this story lots and lots of times,
Yeah.
but I have yet to hear of anybody that has gone from a back grade, meaning a back stake, and all you have to do is measure in. And I've never heard of anybody doing that yet,
No.
and finding out that the road has moved. I've always heard reference of a 1900 photograph, but to me a photograph, that property
You'll
has
have to have
all
it
been surveyed
surveyed.
since.
Well, yeah, it's been surveyed, I mean, you show us the survey, show
That's-
us the,
Yep.
I expected them actually to be here tonight, but. So that's the only complaint, it's done. We need to move on the paving so then we can figure out what to do.
Well, I'm wondering if we need to kind of table all of this paving until our road commissioner can be present. Because we don't have enough information
Yeah.
to advance the ball. I
believe that's
think
true.
we really need him here.
Yep, I tentatively have a, meeting scheduled for, is it next week? Or is next week the week that you're,
No, next week I am around.
right,
The 22nd.
figuring that if we talked about this and then we could go home and all think about it, and I was, until.
Just, we gotta have him here, that's
Yeah.
all. And if
Yeah.
even tonight, if we had known he wasn't, but tomorrow we could have, we
Yeah, we
would
could've
have
held the
juggled things
meeting.
around, but we gotta,
Or if
I know
it's
that's not
raining,
your problem.
or if it's raining, well, yeah, I say, call everybody and say, can we meet?
Sure.
I mean, I understand he has to have good weather to hay, or he has to have good weather to go out and work on the road,
But we can't.
but he could have told me that,
I need good weather to pave.
No.
Yeah,
no,
season's
I'm just
getting
saying,
I
the
know.
season's getting short.
I- yeah.
We gotta advance the ball, so.
So-
My only thing is, I'm just looking at these and I see different prices in different places.
yes.
So like B&B's new, this one that's here,
At the very top, I listed the specs that Lois sent all of these people.
Oh, okay.
But
so what this is.
on the very
The
top of the page,
description?
yes, right.
Well, that's what I was noticing, so B&B on this page says it's $72.15 per ton.
Yep,
But if I come over to this sheet, this newest sheet, now we're at $76.
this is when you, ask for estimates in February, is the top, that top
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5, 6.
those are estimates of,
Yeah.
I gotcha,
That's
and
what
now
they-
I understand.
That's what they said,
So now you're getting a quote that's actually a fair amount more.
right.
So Bridie, right above Pike's line, the enhanced Pike, it says unit price estimate, so that is not an estimate, that's a quote then there?
The
Right
unit,
here.
the estimate is an estimate of tonnage or of square yards.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, okay, I see. So that's still an estimate. But the unit price, those are quotes starting from there.
Yeah, if you, guys could educate me a little on surface and shim and what's the difference between 12.5 and 19
So
millimeters?
that's the size of the stone.
The
It's
aggregate.
the
Okay,
aggregate.
it's the aggregate. And so the 19 is smaller, so it makes a smoother top coat, or is it
No,
used for the
19
base?
is bigger.
Bigger,
Big-
millimeters.
That meant the other way,
Right.
yeah, bigger.
And you can use 19 for a top coat, and actually there's a section on 95 when you drive down, that the road's nice and quiet, and you get to one spot that's really growly.
Yeah,
Okay, that's 19.
okay, gotcha.
It just isn't
Ah.
as smooth to ride on.
Yeah. Now, is it more resilient? No, it's.
The heavier the stone, the stronger it is, that's why
Sure.
they use that in the base.
Okay,
But they don't use it in the top because
because it's
Loud.
it's louder.
and you can't make it as smooth.
Correct.
Okay,
And that's why it's louder.
Yep.
You just can't get that.
yep.
And as far as, I mean, shim and shim, that's just taking,
Just
so
a-
like when you look at that, this is what I find interesting, but when they do their numbers, they need to have a thickness and a width. That's how they, so when you see a shim, the number that they're referencing is the thickness, that is their best guess,
Yep,
that for point A to point B, the total amount of material we're gonna use is gonna average out to that thickness.
Okay,
yeah,
Is what
okay.
they're-
right.
Because they have to say,
Sure.
it's so wide, so thick, and this, so this how many tons.
Okay.
So we requested an average shim of 1 inch.
We don't request.
They
well,
drive that
No,
train?
no, when Lois gave specs out, that was written in the, Pikes tells you need 2 inches, I can't remember, I think. Von Thibodeau's saying 2.5, but I think that is, actually probably surface and shim. I'd have to get back to them and get some clarification.
No, because Von Thibodeau's got it down as a reclaim.
Now, did they all give us quotes for reclaim? Yeah, they did.
They did, I
They did.
believe, I don't know if Seth asked them to, or if, when they got talking about the road, I think he talked to Pikes first, and I think Pike recommended that, and that's why he
Sort of
got
followed.
everybody to,
They all recommend it.
They do.
all- Yeah.
So, and if we were to reclaim, would we be paving this year?
Yep.
We would.
Yep,
you'd
Oh.
be putting down the first,
you'd be doing all of it.
I
All of
see.
it?
You'd
So-
reclaim it, you would put down a 2-inch base, and then you'd put an 1.5-inch surface.
As long as you have the money.
right. You could do it all, or, I talked to Von Thibodeau since they didn't get back to Seth, and he said, within a year, he recommends you finish it. If you don't finish it,
The problem is every road we've done that way.
has a
we've never-
problem.
We've never been surfaced.
Yeah, you don't get back to it.
Silver's Mills, French's Mills was all,
Reclaim.
you know,
And then
based.
base and then no
And,
surface.
Never.
and he says if you don't
But
do it
then
in
we
2
did
years,
the
you've
surface
No,
lost your.
we did that all in one fell swoop.
for the little piece that you and I did, yes, you were correct.
No, but I mean, the French's Mills Road that's in front of me, they reclaimed and paved that the same year.
But they never surfaced it.
Oh, you think that's 19?
They never, all they did was the base, they never went back and surfaced. We've never done surface. We never started doing surface till me and he was on the board,
Because
as far as I know.
Because it was just saving money.
Correct.
And surface is always 12.5?
It's what they always recommend,
Okay.
so we always,
Okay.
the inch and a half is kind of the number to think about.
Yeah, and I thought they were doing,
I thought
they were
they
doing
were-
less base too.
Yeah, I think they were doing inch and 3/4 on the base.
Like B&B, they were talking like 3/4 of an inch of 12.5 for shim and an inch and a quarter for, I don't, those are different numbers.
My only thing I would like to have, I wanna know what they're gonna reclaim.
Yeah,
Because if they're talking, they're gonna go up there and reclaim 12 inches, I would be very dead against that.
yeah.
If they're gonna reclaim 4 inches, 5 inches, if somebody could tell me how many layers of top are there, you might be able to talk me into it.
Mm-hmm.
But
So we need to know,
The depth of the,
what we
Well-
already have, and
Well, for me, I wanna know, what does it add to, because I was kinda surprised that it was, I thought it was gonna be more expensive an upgrade, if you even can call it that. I just thought that reclaiming was gonna boost the price some, it's not that, a
Right,
$200,000 job is
yeah,
20 grand.
yeah.
It doesn't need to have much benefit to be worth doing, but I don't know what that benefit is.
Ron Thibodeau was saying it would take you from 5 years to 10 years.
That's huge for
Really?
20 grand.
Really?
Pike was saying
But-
it would increase it.
But what, they're,
if you.
But they're all
okay.
saying a significant.
They're all saying
like-
this because
because they make,
if you go to the state road and you have a road that's got gravel under it, you can reclaim it, and the thought process is you take your hot top, you grind it all into pebbles, and you mix your pebbles in with your gravel, and you have a nice, smooth, consistent surface.
we don't have the gravel underneath.
Very true.
In
Yeah.
most roads, we don't.
Right.
So now you're taking what you have for a base
And mixing with dirt,
with mud,
yeah.
and you're making pebbly mud. So that's what I'm saying is.
That's why Seth added all that gravel
Right,
when they did
right,
that in
right.
Parkman.
Right.
Correct.
And
right.
they
And
didn't
he
have the
keeps
money
saying
to
that.
do it all at once.
Right,
So
so
they
they,
incrementally
that's
did
why
it.
I wanted to know, because they did it,
So there's really, it seems like there's a little bit of detective work that needs to be done. First of all, do we need to add gravel for this to be a worthwhile strategy? And if so, how much?
right,
And if
Right.
not, then it's a no-brainer.
right.
You spend the 20 grand, and if you're gonna, even if you increase your road by 5 years, it's well worth 20. But we don't know enough
We
to
don't
really
know
know
enough.
whether it's worth.
And I know less.
Well, I mean, we don't, what we're lacking is, if we had the information, I'm sure we all could come to a conclusion
Yeah, I
that
think
made
so.
sense.
But
I think so.
I don't think we're looking at a true number, because I don't agree with this number they got down there.
Which number are you referring
2 inches of shim.
Now, where are we, at Pike? Are you
Under
on
Pike.
Pike? Okay, okay.
So when you look at this, he's saying you're gonna reclaim it, it's gonna cost you 23,000.
Mhm.
Then you're gonna put down 2 inch of base, you're gonna put down 1.5 inches of surface. Then you go to, his next thing is 2 inches of shim with 1.5 inches of surface. That road is nothing like Silver's Mills, and there's no way they put that much shim down on Silver's Mills. I don't know how they're coming up with 2 inches of shim.
I know. I rode with Jeff Mullis when he looked at it, and he previously, I believe, quoted 1 inch. But when he looked at some of the ruts and holes, he said you're looking for it too, because you're gonna have bare spots with.
What they did on Silver's Mills. And that's what I'm saying, is Silver's Mills was rutted up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
Much worse.
Much worse.
Really?
Unbelievable, it's not even comparable.
Okay,
And we didn't put that much shim down on Silver's Mills.
okay.
That's why I question whether or not, and that's what's making this number look like it's $20,000 difference. Is cause he's guessing,
Inflated
he inflated this number with 2
by a whole
inches
inch,
of shim.
yeah. A whole inch of extra.
Right, so if you take that, so if you go with that, for instance, if you take a whole inch off that 185,000, you just drop that. Huge.
They're all coming in with the same tonnage with the exception of Thibodeau. And he's got a pretty good boost over the others. But they're all roughly in that same ballpark.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, I don't know what that means, it's just that they all looked at the same road and most of them think, you know,
Same.
they're within the same range.
well, if that 2.5 is the two layers, 1 inch and an inch and a half, then he's really coming in low on tonnage.
See,
So,
B and B come in at 3/4 an inch of shim.
yeah,
So how do you get one person saying an inch and a quarter,
But his
3/4?
total tonnage is 1488.
yeah.
And you go back up to,
You can't go by.
Pike, his tonnage is 1470, they're almost identical. I mean,
Huh?
That, right here,
Pike's tonnage is 2570.
on this two,
Right here. You're looking at the wrong number.
but, can we just back up for the Pike? So, Dale, can you explain to me, is this in lieu of
Correct.
this?
This is one scenario, you're gonna
Okay.
reclaim 2 inches base, inch and a half surface.
Okay, so
This
then
is-
this is
If you
reclaim.
don't reclaim,
Oh.
You just shim and-
you're gonna shim,
I gotcha, I
and then you're gonna
understand.
surface.
I see, okay.
So that's what I'm saying, this number, this is the only difference between the two is the reclaim, because he's still using the 2 inches of
I see.
shim as
Yeah.
his base.
Right.
Actually,
And
it's
the
costing you
1.5.
more because your 2 inches of shim, he's charging
But I
you
have a bigger price.
$2.75 more a ton than you would have if you did this. But that's what I'm saying, if you go over here to B and B says he's gonna shim
Yeah,
and only use 3/4 an inch of shim.
Wait, okay. I
So you got
see
a
that.
whole inch and a quarter more in Pike's calculation.
yeah.
That's a lot of
but we don't
tonnage.
have a total tonnage number for B and B.
B&B, well, let me,
Yeah, you do,
Where?
right there.
1488?
1488.
Well, that's what okay. Plus, don't you have to add the 744 to it?
So where are you down
For the pave?
Yeah.
No, that's if you reclaim.
that's if you reclaim, yeah.
So there are two different scenarios.
Correct.
It's the reclaim scenario and then it's the not reclaim and we're just gonna go
Right,
ahead
that's
with
why,
it.
Right, we're
if you
just
look
gonna
at
go
B
ahead.
and B says, if we reclaim it and we pave it, it's gonna cost you 190,000.
And
But if we just shim and pave it,
it's
gonna
gonna
cost you
113.
Yeah,
That's a closer number to reality,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
I see what you're saying.
between the two.
I don't know, it's the one that's different, but,
So this is kinda like what we used to do.
That's exactly what we used to do.
That's why he's quoting
The inch and a
that.
quarter paved.
Right, yeah.
We've gone to 1.5 inches, but everything we did in the past was 1 inch and a quarter. Because of everything, that quarter of an inch is an extra 5-10 years.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
just huge,
Yeah.
yeah. No, we would never do this.
Not anymore.
No.
but tonnage wise, where are they? I can't remember now.
576.
Von
Yeah.
Thibodeau,
Yeah,
so shim and pave on McFeeters for them is 1,800 tons.
yeah.
So he's a little bit more, but I bet he's using the 1.5 inches, I'm guessing, obviously.
Yeah, cause he didn't delineate what he's doing with the shim and
Correct.
overlay. He didn't say.
But isn't it still, I mean,
But you're still not 25.
all these estimates on tonnage are kind of a crapshoot.
It's
Yeah.
very much.
I mean, the $70.10 is the number
That's
you
the
really gotta look at.
number. That's
And
the
It's-
quote.
Von
It's
Thibodeau,
very
when I-
true, but I'm just saying, when you're trying to compare the cost of reclaim to shim, I don't think that number you can use. I don't think Pike's number is accurate.
Well, let's look at Wellman. And his upcharge is almost identical.
Yeah, 20.
20,000.
And, okay, Pike's is 22, B and B is 20 for the reclaim.
Yeah, they're all basically around that 20,000 mark.
And Thibodeau's 19, so 19.5 for the reclaim. So they're all 20,000 to reclaim.
Roughly.
Yep,
So then you assume that, I mean, whatever the tonnage is, you're better off to pay $70.10 than you are $71.75. I mean, that's,
Correct.
so, as long as Wellman has capacity, I don't know how you pick anybody else.
Yeah, he's,
Right, cause he's saying the same thing on his.
Yeah,
He's saying his shim is gonna be 2 inches, same as what Pike said.
Same as pipe.
and they'll all do 2 inches if we tell them to.
right.
I mean, it's
Usually they don't
price
do
per
it.
ton.
Shim is not usually a set number, the shim is the
It's an
number.
average.
It's what
You're
they're
telling us
guessing.
an average.
Yeah.
Correct.
They're gonna
But
use.
you-
They're not gonna say, I'm gonna put 2 inches of shim.
In theory though, if they're all paving the same road, they should use approximately the same tonnage, and when you're done, it's the price per ton that's gonna determine what you
Correct.
pay.
Correct.
So,
So you want the price per ton, but you also want to make sure that the tonnage they quoted you is in the ballpark with everybody else, because if they're,
well, at least then you can budget it properly.
Right.
And they're similar enough. So
They
that,
are.
yeah,
You just have to make sure you're looking at the same comparison. And that's what I
it's hard to tell.
really
But
think
I got-
B&B's number's closer, but.
I got B&B and Von Thibodeau's quotes today. So I really hadn't had much time to study them. Pikes and Wellman's are pretty, the description's pretty much the same.
I see these numbers using the 2 inches, that's a number that I'm gonna quote you to do that road, and you're not gonna do to me like you did last year on Silver's Mills and run out of money. That's what I see as 2 inches is for. Cause that's guaranteeing you that that's enough to do that job and you're not gonna run out. Because that's what happened over here, is our footage was short,
Okay.
so we started shimming and just figured out.
That would run.
the problem with that is it's budgeted, so he can throw whatever number he wants on there. Once you're out of money, you're out of money.
Correct.
I mean, you can't.
But he's
But if I
kind
give you
of
this
covered
money-
his base, yeah.
Correct.
He's covered his
I'm pretty
bases.
confident I'm not gonna run out of money, cause I think I'm only gonna use 1.5 inches or an inch, and
Yeah.
I'm giving you a number for 2.
Is binder the same thing as shim? Or binder is the base?
Base.
Is
So binders
base.
usually base binders usually what they reference when they talk about the 19.
So, and.
I'm not sure if they actually, did they ever say if they use a different, anything chemically, Mike, in the base?
I don't
Can't
remember. I don't know.
But base and binder are the same, we're talking about the same thing? Or no? It's crazy, isn't it?
What do they call that they put down, cause I'm just drawing a blank, and that's why I don't wanna answer.
Oh, okay, okay.
When they,
Oh.
We did a binder when we capped that area over on,
Oh,
at Harper Lane.
yeah,
That was a binder that we capped that with. And then, when we paved, we paved it all.
I see.
I think it's what he's calling the base though.
Could be.
What is that called? Oh.
He's calling this a base, which I think is the same thing as what Mike's, same thing
Calling
what they call the binder.
binder.
and we did over there.
You got surface, you got shim, you got binder, you got base, you got.
Right,
Shim and surface is the same, the only difference with shim and surface is shim is they're getting it to grade.
right, so it's not
surface-
necessarily the whole road, it's just.
It's to get it
it's those-
smooth.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
right.
And it's
Bring
my
everything-
guess to what it takes.
Okay,
And once you do shim, now you have a flat surface, so now they can set the paver, you want 1.5 inches.
I see.
It's so
I
wide,
see.
so long, and that's,
Yep, and off
Okay.
we go.
surface is usually
Overlay is the other word.
Oh, yeah, that's
surface
the old,
overlay, yeah,
same thing,
Yeah.
same thing.
depends on who, see, so like
Tack
Von
coat.
Thibodeau, shim and overlay is what he calls it, which is the same as surface.
Okay, okay.
But the other thing too that I find that's interesting, if you notice lately, the state is not reclaiming the roads anymore. The state is grinding a set amount and hauling that material off. But they are not reclaiming that back into the surface of the road. And I have no idea what that
Yeah.
means, but I've noticed that, even when they just did 15,
Yep,
they
that's
did- they
exactly
hauled it
what they
all
did.
up.
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't, before what they were doing, and that's why they had the mountain at the DOT, is they were saving all of that.
Yep.
And this time, they don't even
They
wanna
didn't
save it
open
anymore.
the, they didn't open the plant.
Well, they gave it away to everybody, anybody and
Right.
everybody that wanted it. They didn't even want it to haul it back. Which is,
Yeah, that's interesting.
I thought it was, I don't know.
And with all of these, as far as reclaim, we don't know, and back to your point, how deep they're talking about going in their reclaim.
Correct.
I know you have a couple of road committee members who say don't. I haven't had a committee meeting, so I don't know.
I'll guarantee you they'll tell you not to.
Yeah,
But I know that that's the thought process, you know, they probably wouldn't agree with me when I said, I think it's okay if we reclaim 4. I mean, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I can, in my mind, I can see where if you reclaimed, at least got all your big chunks into small chunks and it was all uniform, and you compacted it into a layer, yes, but they won't because they'll, and we're all guessing, I don't know what's under McFeeters. I know what's under McFeeters, I mean, mine Silver's Mills, cause we've dug enough up there, we all know what's there.
yeah.
But I wouldn't even try to do 4 inches on Silver's Mills, cause there's nothing under that road.
I guess the point, reclaiming doesn't need to add much value to be worth doing, because it's a 10% cost roughly, so
Yeah,
if you get
so
10% more life out of your road, which,
Yeah, but you're still looking at that $20,000 at 10%.
yeah,
That's, don't buy that for a minute.
you think reclaiming's gonna be more than 20?
You look at B and B, you're at $70,000.
Yeah.
I think that's a closer comparison. You're looking at 190 to 113.
So you think that's more accurate?
Yeah. I think that's more accurate of a difference in price. Now, I don't believe it's a
Well-
true number either, because he's not putting the same thicknesses on there, is
Right.
what we would do.
Right.
But I think looking at the difference between a 3/4 inch shim to a 2-inch shim is huge.
So, B and B's reclaim on McFeeters is 20.
That's for the process of reclaiming, correct?
Correct. And Pike is 22.6,
Correct.
so they're not that different.
Yeah, but that's not for the job, that's for the process.
Right, but they're both adding that amount for that process.
Correct.
Okay, so that's consistent.
Correct. But what I'm saying is you're comparing the 2-inch, the pave and shim that you're applying when you're reclaiming, you're not gonna apply that much shim. So you're not gonna use that much material.
Right,
So you're not gonna use anywhere near the same tonnage.
of shim.
Correct. You would use a lot less tonnage to shim and pave than you are if you reclaim. You put your base and pave, is what I'm saying. That's where.
Wait, say that, I'm sorry, just say it one more time. You're gonna use a lot less tonnage if you,
Shim and pave. Than if you put in a 2-inch base and then surface on top of
You're talking 1,000 to 1,100 tons, according to Pike and
that. Right.
B&B.
That's what I'm saying, but Pike's numbers is referencing a 2-inch shim.
Right.
So that's why Pike's numbers show only a 20,000.
So what-
Pike shows his number is actually less because 2-inch base is less per ton.
69.
Correct. So he's saying that if you do it this way, you're actually saving money.
Is that because it's a 19 millimeter base?
Yep.
It's cheaper?
It's cheaper. That's what I'm saying.
But is it sturdier? Does it hold up better?
Yeah, it's better. Yep. That's what everybody, can't remember if it was Pike or who it was, but gave us all those numbers for stone size. The bigger the stone, the longer it lasts.
So Wellman's reclaim number, what's the $1.55 represent?
Price per square yard.
Okay,
Same as like Pike, so Pike, he's actually a lot cheaper to reclaim. 15 cents a square.
and 2 by 19, they're both using the same base slash binder.
And,
They're both roughly figuring the
Virtually
same
the same,
tonnage, price
right.
per ton is about the same.
right,
Yeah, so he's saying the same thing, he's gonna shim and pave, use the same amount of materials.
12 mil, okay, so those two quotes are virtually,
yeah, they're pretty darn close.
Yeah.
They're within $4,000.
they're seeing that project the
$4,000.
same way.
Right,
Yep.
right, that's exactly right.
I will tell you, I don't think Von Thibodeau has actually looked at the road. He said, this is, this is an estimate, I could give you a better idea once I've looked at the road. But the price is quite a bit higher than,
You're right, yeah.
I just wonder why I wonder why Wellman's cheaper per ton than Pike. That shouldn't, I bet he's buying it from Pike.
No, he's probably getting another, he's probably not getting enough of it.
His McFeeder's number, 178 versus 184, I mean, that's no small, I'll take that money. Now, I'm
pretty sure we've used Wellman before, haven't
Wellman did my
I
road.
don't know.
we? Wellman did part of it, right?
Yeah, when I say my road, the part in front of my house.
Yeah, then after you went up the hill, that was B&B,
Yep, that's correct.
which I thought B&B, I thought they did a good job, I didn't see.
Yeah, there was a little, remember the problem with there was a big culvert that we hadn't properly compacted. I wasn't on the board then, and that broke off, and I think B&B came back and really stepped up to the plate there, didn't they?
I did too, because they actually, that was a very touchy situation, because we actually held the check on that.
Okay,
That
that's,
situation.
And that's, I'm pretty confident, that's why they hadn't put a bid in for us since. I was kinda happy to see them put a bid in. 'Cause that was,
You were, yeah. And that was
B&B.
B&B.
I haven't seen them since, but I know on that job, it was all top-notch equipment, and I thought they did a very good job for us when they did that. So,
well, and Seth shared a couple of experiences, one, he was a little disappointed, but then he said the next one they did
Yeah,
absolutely.
bang up job.
Yeah, A+, so
Yeah, yeah.
they're certainly
Capable.
capable,
the
yeah.
price came in a little high though.
Availability is really huge. Without that information, kind of spinning our wheels.
Yeah, because I wanna guarantee it's gonna, myself, I don't wanna guarantee it's gonna get done in decent weather and.
Yeah, I don't wanna go outside of September again.
Well, I don't care about that, I want a temperature.
Well, yeah, but I'd rather not even mess with October. Let's get it done.
Cause we was all set before, it wasn't us, it was them that kept.
Correct. Correct. But I think, in order to, we need to come up with some kind of drop, we don't go into October. Or something, I'm just picking a date, but, we were fighting Halloween. It was bad.
It was cold.
Didn't it snow for Halloween, or was it?
Oh, I'm telling you, it was window scraping that day.
So anyway, we need to know that.
All right, so I will go in, when the meeting's done, write them all emails.
Yeah.
I'm in class all day tomorrow, but I'll get the emails back to you.
Yeah, or maybe if you call Seth, you said he's been talking to him, he may already know
Right,
that.
he might.
So maybe you include him in the email. Is there anything else we wanna do with this tonight?
I don't think so.
We want to think about meeting next.
I'm up whenever
Sure.
you're
Yep.
ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You just, if you
Okay.
need 24-hour notice, just call,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can have an emergency.
Have an
Okay.
emergency, I'll meet during the
Get it
day.
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, rules, item C under old business, rules for the SMMP.
There really isn't much, all I need is Dale to take one of those and laminate it.
Yeah, but Dale's gonna leave it here and he'll bring my laminator down,
Okay?
just cause it's white paper and you don't have to handle it and set it down very hard, you're not gonna be happy.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
So I'll just bring my laminator here and we
okay,
can just take a minute, plug it in, warm it up and do it, so. I
that's
will
the
send you a
plan.
text right now. so that I will remember to do that.
I noticed the speed bumps are still.
They
there.
are. I told, Jason to have them removed. He sent me a whole long email about why they don't want to remove them.
Jason doesn't have a say.
He's under the impression that you guys approved it.
No,
I
we
said,
very boisterously told him in the past he cannot have those.
that's what I told him. He's now wound up, I think, the rest of his committee.
Great.
Well, I would question even if I supported the speed bump
That's great.
concept, the place that they put them makes no
Yeah,
sense. It's actually created more of a hazard. I grabbed a slice of pizza at Robinson's and went down there and sat there one morning and ate it. And 5 cars came in and whipped around the barrier. And I said, this is silly.
Yeah.
And I bet you if you drive by right now, you could just look, there's a legacy
Yeah,
trail.
yeah.
Everybody's,
Around.
if they were gonna put them down,
Yeah.
why would you put them in the gate?
Well, there's a electrical line there somewhere.
Correct.
So they don't have a suitable place for
They
them.
don't.
Right.
I actually, last night when I left work and went through and I followed there was a Jeep with a boat in front of me, and so I purposely slowed back, gave myself a little bit of distance, only to watch them swing all the way through the parking lot so they didn't have to
It's
beat their trailer over those speed
Right.
bumps.
It's unbelievable to me that anybody sitting there wouldn't think that this is not a good idea.
Well, he's only going by Pirate Rec, and
Pirate.
when there are a lot of people there and you can't get around it.
That's why that is no longer considered the rec department, it's called the parks department.
So, the other thing
Park
is,
the
they
wrench.
need a compact wrench, some kind of wrench, big wrench from Jimbro to remove them. I'll just tell him to go ahead and borrow it, I guess, is it Chad Burgess, is that his name? Who's on the fire department and lives there, which direction am I saying? He can get it and they can remove some. You're probably, this is my fault because I didn't say, Jason, no, you absolutely can't do that.
I'll let you take part of this, but the only thing is that committee was here and was discussed with Jason, and they were told that none of
Don't
us
do it.
thought it was a good idea and it shouldn't be done. So I really almost see this as more of a way of a committee,
This is a little,
knowing we have a new town manager and pushing it through,
this is
which
a,
is not really.
Well, and all fairness, my only recollection of the speed bump conversation was around availability. There was a potential of getting them. I think we tossed around how maybe we liked it, we didn't like, but we weren't told we have them. Did they come from the hospital?
no,
No.
they looked for the ones at the hospital, they didn't get the.
That's the conversation we had,
Yeah,
was around the
yeah,
hospital
hospital
might have
speed
some
bumps.
for them. But there was no, we have them, we wanna put them in, what do you think? We never had that conversation.
They got two, they put them out to see what they looked like, and it was obvious that they couldn't use them because they were, I don't know, curb
That's why
size.
when we talked about this,
And so then I got an email saying, we've cut them, I'm at Jimbo, I've cut them in half, I've got them all painted. And I sent Seth down and said, make sure this doesn't get out of hand and make sure they're put down properly. And so he, I think, just okayed it. I should have just said, no, stop.
actually, it's not part of Seth's role anyway.
Yeah. Well, I wanted him to look at it and see if it was dangerous or if it was going to rut up his road that he just graded. I'm like,
My other thing, and this has nothing to do with even any of this, but when you drive by there nowadays, I know I was cheap with what I got for a pickup, but for what it costs nowadays for a new vehicle, and what it costs for a trailer and a nice boat, the value that goes over that road every day, I think that alone to me, we should never ever be putting anything in there with the potential of causing damage to something.
yeah, well, I think you're going to have to listen to Jason because he's not going to listen to me. And that I apologize for.
Actually, he's
I
ours,
would-
so send him in.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, whatever, if Seth's gotta go up there with a town loader and pop them and level it, then that's what we need to do.
Okay, I don't think so. I think we can get them to remove them.
I mean, everybody needs to understand that that is a community area and it's for everybody's use. It's not just because, when we first proposed the idea of moving the road, there was actually a little resistance about that, because they need to be able to drive to the backfield.
Right, I think they still were resistant, very resistant to that.
Well, that's,
I'm looking at it going, it's not that far, you know, if you've got somebody who can't walk, you drive them down, you drop them off, and you come back out and park, I mean,
they're not gonna be able to drive down there.
yeah, well. So,
If
that
you
is
go to-
where
If
it's
you go to Guilford School and you go to the softball field, that's quite a bit of a walk.
Say, go to Foxcroft Academy.
Yeah.
All those fields,
I'm telling you,
driving up to those.
back when I smoked, that was a workout to get out there, we had to go to the backfield.
I mean, you can name any school, I mean.
Well, it's good for you.
Crosby's Park in
It's a-
Dexter.
Oh, I've not
If
been
you
there.
wanna go to a soccer match, you're parked way down behind that old baseball, and you gotta
Okay.
walk up across,
You don't get to park right now.
no.
Even when you go to Corinth, which is probably one of the best ones, cause you pull in, you think you see a field.
Yeah.
No, you're probably betting on that field.
Yeah,
Go to the
Still,
University of Maine Orono.
Yeah.
Those ball fields, you're walking.
Right, right.
Yes, anyway, I guess those are all valid concerns, I just think there's some confusion as to authority and where it lies. I think not to totally change the subject, but I think we might need to consider a park director, or somebody in charge of parks, not recreation, that's a separate thing. And maybe
We
the
don't
town
have-
manager, but
we don't have, we used to have a recreation director.
right.
And we don't have any recreation, so we decided we didn't need a
Totally
director. in
correct.
there.
Right.
We don't have any activities over there that we need a director.
But we have a significant investment in that park, and we might need a parks director. Someone who could oversee a new
All of
road, or would have the authority to put in speed bumps or take them out.
How about a park/cemetery director?
Well, yeah, well, that's
I mean,
perfectly
I
fine.
mean-
You need both of them.
Right.
The only thing is, what I don't understand is the way this was supposed to work, or the way the reality that it doesn't work, is we have a parks committee.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to make recommendations
To
Yeah.
us,
to us.
Like the road committee.
right,
Correct,
and then we,
because they can't spend any money
right,
without
And-
us approving.
And if someone wants to plant a tree, nobody gets to just go plant a tree. They have to have permission to plant a tree, and there's a strategy. Because you don't wanna plant trees where you might be putting in a road next
Right,
year, or.
right.
So there's an overarching, and if you had a director, that vision could be kind of consistent. And whereas now, I think, there's no real
Terry,
leadership.
you got 4 directors.
For directors,
Yeah. You have a
Four of
committee
us? Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
recommends,
And then us.
and they're supposed to come to us.
yeah, but the committee is a rec committee, it's not a parks committee.
No, it's a
No,
parks
it's a
committee, it's
parks
not a recs
committee.
committee.
It's a
There is no
parks
rec committee.
committee, but
Well, I'm saying their view of their
Yeah.
role is different than a park committee.
Then maybe we have the wrong people on the committee.
That's the point I
Possible.
guess I'm trying to make.
yeah.
We're not,
But a director's not gonna fix that.
well, if you had a director that, had a vision or an understanding of the role, then the committee might not get astray. But right now, there is no, I mean, maybe we don't need one, maybe it's just us. But it seems to be a little bit,
I think you got 2 rec people and 2
Parks people.
parks people and,
on that committee,
yeah.
that consider the rec
Yeah.
and consider the park.
It's 2 and 2 is 4. Who else we got opening?
I can't remember now.
We can talk about next time.
yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not something,
I mean, I understand the rec side of it, and Pirate Rec does a tremendous job, and I'm not gonna say anything negative about Pirate Rec, but we as a town are not Pirate Rec.
No.
Right,
That field is not Pirate Rec. That is a community field for all residents of the town.
well, and this speed bump thing, I'm just concerned that they've actually made it more dangerous.
Yeah,
Now, I
because now
understand
people
that's
are
an
going around them.
opinion, but yeah.
oh no, there's no question.
All you have to do is go park there for a minute.
I sit there for 5 minutes and there were at least 5 cars that went around the
Yeah.
thing, so.
I
I
saw
waited
it
for somebody to
first
go
thing.
through the field, is what I was really.
Well, I mean, yeah, that second one,
Yeah, they are
There's space.
beginning to go onto the field.
Yeah, it's-
I was there yesterday.
So, okay, maybe it was well-intended, but if we
Right,
have
right.
issues, whether it's, you know, a water main or electricity, so that we can't implement these in a proper way, then you abandon it. I mean, you don't just put them down because you've always wanted them.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I think it's the way they plan or don't plan. I mean, let's try this. And they don't. Don't
Right,
think
well,
it
then,
through.
now you get, then you get into, they don't really have the authority to try stuff.
Right.
That's
So-
kind of what I kind of agree, so.
Anytime I get a message from Jason, I'm just going to bring it to the meeting. He'll wait till the meeting.
Yes, that's fine.
Probably better.
Yes,
And then just to establish a chain of command.
yep,
I'm running the town, I'm not running the committee, you report to the select board, I will make sure that they get the message.
yep. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fine, and
I
once,
mean-
once we've decided, if there's an issue, and the three of us decided a certain way, then you can implement,
Right,
Right.
right.
so.
All right, do you need to make a motion to say remove those, because I'm just gonna go tell him again
No, we're all set.
to remove them, and if they aren't removed, Seth will remove them.
Yeah,
And-
we never made a motion to put them in.
No.
Right, that's right.
Okay. Okay, that's what we will, I will do.
And I didn't, and now at least I understand why they didn't put them in a logical place, that had to do with this electrical thing, so
Yeah.
I get that now, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I did was look and say, they're just gonna drive around.
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
make a nice big hole there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the first thing I did was drive around.
Okay, cemetery deed correction for Joseph and Gloria Grant in the village cemetery.
Okay, if you would like to make a motion,
I just have to find where,
here, we can read it off from
okay.
there.
Thank you. So I'll make a motion to correct the deed?
Yep,
Or-
it's a corrective deed. They bought, was it lot 31?
Well, this says plot 4, lot 33.
Right, they bought lot 31, there's somebody there.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So now we're going to make a motion to implement this or grant this cemetery deed, plot 4, lot 33, as part of the village cemetery.
Yes.
Is that?
This is a change or amendment to the current, it's not added to.
It's not added to.
It's
It's-
a change or amendment, however you want.
Okay, so change their deed
Right,
to plot 4, lot 33.
yes.
In favor? 3.
Okay, and just make
Oh,
sure you
yes,
all sign them.
Yeah, I'm gonna use your pen when we go,
You sign
because this
first.
does not work.
I just like to start
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
bottom, so none of us smudge by putting your hands on the other,
Yep.
where it is deed.
You want,
Yeah,
this one won't
no, I'll
sign.
use your pen.
The next item is the property on 23 where the sign sits.
First thing this morning, I got an email, and it says, "The appraisal for the property on Route 23 came in yesterday. Maine DOT would like to offer this property to the town for the total of $2,500. Please let me know if the town wants to move forward with this sale." This is the
Do we
piece of
need
property.
to go, for $2,500, do we need to go to the town to spend that? I think we would.
I would move too. So, you wasn't fully involved on this one.
No,
So just to kind of quickly bring your it up, so they approached us with the potential of possibly wanting to sell that property.
yep,
Mike brought it up as an agreement, and we all fully agree, we don't really want to move our sign.
right,
So we do have an interest in that property.
right.
But when it was originally brought up, it was a matter of maybe us or a neighboring. So I actually, after the meeting, the people that lived beside that was outside, and I stopped and said something to them about it.
Uh-huh,
He was very interested in buying that property, and without putting him on the record or whatever, but he very much stated that he would do something with the town of some type of easement or put it in the deed that we
Right.
could have a sign there as long as we was willing to maintain it. So, I mean, obviously, if we didn't do anything with it for 5 years and it fell down,
You would move it in.
right, we would, so it was an eyesore or whatever, it would fall off. But as long as we ever wanted to have a sign there, he was willing to buy the property and put that in there so we could do that. Which I feel that if we could keep that, get that on the tax roll, and we could still keep our sign, it's kind of a win-win-win-win-win. But the way that's worded,
How big a piece?
oh, it's not very big, it's.
I can look
The
it up.
question is, will they allow him to
That's
be the
what I-
purchaser? And I think we just go back to them with that question, that we
Okay.
have an
The
abutter,
abutter would like to
and
purchase
he's willing to give us a lifetime easement for our
in
sign.
perpetuity, or, yeah.
And can we put those two parties together?
Right,
Right.
And
and
if,
make it as simple as
because
possible.
then we don't
not-
need
not-
approval for that.
Right, because I don't wanna go to the town and ask to buy the property.
No.
And at
And
the
then
same
sell
time,
it.
I would like to sell it, because I
Right.
don't want it.
Right,
I mean,
Well, and then
No,
you get
just-
into, well, what if I wanna pay more?
Right, right.
I want it. you know,
Correct.
So,
right, if
I don't
I
wanna
knew it
get
was
it.
gonna cost that much.
Right.
I want it.
I just like to steer it to somebody that I know
Right.
would give us what we want.
Well, and it's in a butter, that makes
Sure.
the most amount of
Yeah.
sense.
yeah.
It's,
So if they don't object, that's the way I think
Right.
we would go.
Okay,
Would love to go.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because we already have town property that I would love to give away. I wouldn't even want it, we got some town property that we didn't care about selling.
just give it away.
But at $2,500,
We would,
I would
You
buy
have
I
to
would
go-
support
yeah.
buying
it.
it
Me too.
No, yeah,
versus
yes.
tearing down the sign.
Yes.
Yep.
So- But this is the perfect scenario,
Correct.
if we could get an abutter to take
Okay.
it. So-
Okay.
All right, so you're
That's
gonna,
good.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna-
check with them.
Yep.
And as long as they green light it, then
Then
we'll
go
get
ahead,
together
we'll
with
go
the
ahead.
abutter and.
Yeah.
I'll have them come and talk to you.
Yep,
Okay.
Actually, I
That-
wanna give them a heads up of kind of where it's at, just because I
Okay.
know the carriers.
Yeah.
okay, on to item 8, new business, Hamlin and Associates contract.
Okay, Doreen brought this to my attention because she was paying the last installment. So Josh brought down a new, contract. It is for the same price as last year. There was one issue with last year's contract. When we got to reading it, in section 10, it says, "We will perform these duties for the price of $14,000 a year, paid monthly, starting the last day of August 2018, ending the last day of August 2019." Well, that's 13 months. So they fixed it in this one. It goes from August 2019 and ending the last day of July 2020. So, that is the only difference I see, if you guys want to look at that.
is that the old one, this is the old one?
The old one is not in color, the new one is in color.
Oh, okay,
But it's matching?
everything else is,
Everything
Up
else
to
is
snuff.
the
Yeah.
yeah,
same.
yeah,
I don't know about up to snuff, but they
okay,
match.
okay, okay. So
I
there's no-
didn't find any other.
Okay,
No, I'm good then.
I don't have a problem with you doing
No.
this,
No.
either of you?
no,
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, he'd given us a little break and said that he was gonna stick with that for at least another year, so that this is all
so
fine.
this is all
Okay.
following
The only thing that we talked about this last year and it didn't happen, and I don't know if we really wanna get too involved in this, but to make the situation between us and better, we had talked about doing something, whether or not he would come in a little more often but there was some things that, to try to get it. I know I've looked for properties and we pass information along. I'd just like to know how is it all working and, you know what I mean? Are we on the right track to keep making it better? Or is there anything on his end that he thinks that we could do to make it better? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you want
You
him to
mean-
come to a meeting?
If he,
If he thinks there's some value.
correct, if he
That'd be
doesn't,
great.
if he
Right.
thinks it's going good, then I guess we're okay, but.
I think he came in and helped with commitment. Obviously, he had to do a lot of work on the computer first, but next year if I have any issues, I think I can just get Josh to help me run through commitment.
He was very responsive, because we
This
went through the
year-
whole process, he was
Yeah.
very
And
responsive.
that's
Yeah.
what I want, is I want it to maintain the
Yeah, the
positive-
conversation, yeah.
Correct,
like-
and keep us,
Yep.
I don't want
How
to
can we
hear
help
every,
you? Yeah.
right, I don't want to hear every month, I don't
No,
want to
no,
be
no,
that
no,
kind
but
of
it would
thing
be
in the
good.
spot, but
No,
I just think once in a while,
Yeah, just touch base.
yeah, and see if there's,
It's,
that's all.
So are we gonna sign this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me make a motion.
Oh, make a motion to, sign the contract with Hamlin Associates, for the, what are the dates here? August 9th, 2019, starting August 2019, ending last day of July 2020, for our assessor's agent contract.
Got it, second.
Second, any further discussion? Let's vote. We all three vote in favor of renewing that
So
contract.
we're gonna sign.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start at the top.
We're on to item B, sand and salt.
Okay, sand. I looked up how much we bought last year. I ran it by Seth. He seems to think that we should buy about the same amount. I ran the list of people we sent it out to. He had a couple of suggestions as to who else we might want to send it to.
Okay.
That's as far as I've gotten.
Okay, well, at least the ball's rolling.
And as far as salt, I received an email from Peter Coughlin. This lists if we want to go with the state. We didn't,
It's in the past, it's always been cheaper, I'm not, don't know if it is this
yeah,
year.
I don't know, Sangerville, we didn't, for the last 2 years, we didn't go with the state.
Oh,
I thought we did, but.
Well, maybe, I'll have to check this, I
Well, we
mean,
may have, or we could be,
this is just a,
yeah.
here, you can look at the, I've got 2 copies, look at the list. We have to decide by July 26th is their deadline.
okay, so,
No, we went somewhere else and it was cheaper, that was cheaper,
Okay.
can't remember what it was.
But it doesn't look like we will know, all we'll know is they're gonna bid it out and we can accept,
to go along with them,
yeah,
piggyback on them.
yeah, but we have to let them know whether we're going to or not by July 26th. If you choose to accept the low bid, you are committing to buying at least 75% of your stated quantity. On the upper end, prices received are guaranteed up to a volume of 125%. If you choose to reject the low bid or the Division of Procurement Services receives no answer from you, you will be out of the contract and will not obtain salt. You'll have to obtain your salt through separate channels. So I suppose that we could put in and if we don't
You
get,
can just check where we got last year and see what first.
yeah,
Yeah, see, just check, yeah, because I do, there was,
We talked about this and I can't remember.
yep,
yeah. I didn't get that far.
okay. But you got until the 26th.
Right, and if
So-
we have another meeting,
Right,
it looks
we'll
like we're,
revisit that.
Yep, it looks like we're going to.
yeah. I think
Okay.
that's where we're headed.
In fact, right now, we're scheduled for a meeting next week.
Yeah.
We are,
And so we should just leave that alone for now.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yeah,
so next Wednesday.
Yep.
next
Okay.
Wednesday, yeah. Yeah, so that's all I have on salt and sand.
Okay. Correspondence, LRAP.
I got another email saying that LRAP is now going to make payments once a year, not in quarterly payments. And then outlines the process that I need to go through to make sure that we get that, so,
Does it say remember, they wanna make that one payment?
yes, by December 1st.
Okay, that's a good time.
So, let's see. Don't fax it to them, they no longer accept faxes.
Follow the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically, it outlines all the stuff I have to do. It looks complicated and I'll have to sit down and review it and I have it in before November. Let's see. Fiscal year, let's see, please submit the completed certification form for fiscal year 2020, July 1st, 2019 to June, either by US mail or by scanning and emailing it to us. Once we receive your completed form, your funds will be ready for the November payment.
May I see that, please?
You
I
sure.
just- Thanks.
You want me to send you a copy?
Oh,
I mean, email you?
sure, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be great, thanks. Then I can,
Okay.
Sure, this is the new copier scan.
Yes.
It's all, and wirelessly, you guys are able to pick those documents up.
Yeah.
Okay, item 10, abatements and supplements.
Okay.
Abatement of $111.69 on a 2019 property tax. Map 3, lot 23, as requested by Josh Mooring.
Oops. Let's get rid of the G. Okay.
I didn't notice that.
Assessed
So we
as
just-
due to outbuilding having been removed before April 1st. So our assessor's agent is saying that this abatement should happen.
Right.
Okay.
And if I understand what I've read, we can't make abatements due to errors in assessing. I mean, whether you think this should be assessed for more or less, but if there's an issue like the outbuilding is gone, well, yeah, then you can make.
And these are all being requested
By
by
Josh.
Josh. None of these are being requested by a
by a
landlord.
landowner,
So
yeah.
this is something he or somebody there is.
Well,
Okay, when
or
you
the
threw
la- the
Josh
land-
and Joshua, I said, that's somebody different, okay, now I get this.
The landowner went to the assessor and
And say,
and
my building.
so he sent me these forms, and I believe I need you to
Yeah,
sign
I'm gonna sign all three of them.
all three of them. So you can do.
And we have to make motions, I think, for each one of these.
Yeah,
right?
I would think so.
I would, yes.
Do we wanna read through them or no?
I'll go to B,
Okay.
abatement of 110.40 on, in 2019 property tax map 7 lot 30 as requested by Josh Moran, assessor's agent, due to veterans exemption that should have been applied but wasn't. C, abatement of 1840 in 2019 property tax map 17 lot 17 as requested by Josh, assessor's agent, due to building not having been removed from 2018 property tax and should have been,
Should not have been taxed.
it should not have been taxed in 2019. They're really all the same
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
problem.
much.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Just an oversight.
So, I'll second that?
As read is fine, I think.
Yeah, as read, A, B, and C, abatements.
Any further discussion? We all vote, and we're all in favor of these abatements.
So Mike makes a motion as read.
That was a motion, yes.
And
Yep.
Jody seconds and all in favor, okay. And then I need you to sign them all. I think on this.
I'm not signing today, Dale.
All those warrants.
You're messing me up.
I asked for a stamp a long time ago.
I think there's a legal aspect to that request. Okay,
I think we have to find.
request for additional agenda items? Any? None? Executive session, did you have anything? I don't have anything, right? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor, we are now adjourned. It is 6:49.
6:49.